Over 1 million FPL transfers have been made since the deadline on Friday. In this video, I'll quickly take a look at which players we should avoid and sell, and which players we should buy and keep. At the end of the video, I'll also take a look at some of the teams that performed well in game week 1, compare them to my team. So let's have a look. So at the moment, these are the players that's most transferred in so far this game week. It's only Wednesday, so this could change, but you see that Reinders, he is really popular, close to 1 million transfers in already. I think that he will reach 1 million before the deadline on Friday. Semenyo, of course, brace against Liverpool. We have Ekitike, Chris Wood and Ballard. And I think that some of those players should be avoided ahead of game week 2. The most transferred out players ahead of game week 2, some of them make sense, but I think that we actually should have a bit more patience with some of those players. One of the players I definitely think you should sell if you have him in your team is Alexander Isak. We had some news from Isak recently on Instagram. He is in an argument with Newcastle. He's not happy. He wants to get out of the club, and he thinks that there are some promises that's broke. So at the moment, Alexander Isak is a definite sell, but let's take a look at the complete list. So if you have to make a transfer ahead of game week 1, this is the list of players I think we should keep and buy and sell and avoid. My best advice would probably be to just hold your team. You picked your players for a reason, and I think that one game week is not enough. So if you have a player that blanked in game week 1, if he's not injured or suspended, he can definitely do well in game week 2. So players to avoid and sell, I think that Ballard, of course, if you have him, I wouldn't necessarily sell him, but I don't see any reason to bring in Ballard. Of course, he scored 17 points in game week 1, but I can't really see Sunderland keeping clean sheets and Ballard scoring goals for fun going forward. So over 300,000 new FPL managers for Ballard. I think that some of these managers will be a bit disappointed. Alexander Isak is a player, I just talked about him. I think that he is a definite sell. Joe Pedro is actually one of the players that can be on the keep list as well. He will potentially start most games for Chelsea going forward, but as predicted, he will rotate a bit with the lap, and I can see the lap starting some games as well. Next player is Guardiola. He is injured, so 6 million defender on the bench with no time frame on his recovery is a sell in my opinion. Caliafori, of course, don't sell him, but don't buy him either. I think that he is one to avoid because I can see rotation coming with Lewis Kelly waiting on the bench for Arsenal. Richarlison, he will be benched soon when Solanke is 100% fit, and I think that Livramento will get competition from Lewis Hall on that left back for Newcastle as well. So of course, if you have those players that performed really well in game week 1, I wouldn't necessarily sell them, but I would definitely avoid transferring them in. Players to keep and buy, of course, some of the players that did well in game week 1, some of the bandwagons like Semenyo and Reinders, they are decent options. Good fixtures as well, especially for Man City and Bournemouth players. So if you want Semenyo and Reinders, it definitely makes sense, but kind of depends on who you're selling. I wouldn't necessarily sell a player like Wirtz. I would give him a couple of more games and reassess his on set pieces for Liverpool, and he could have easily gotten an attacking return in game week 1. Konsa, I would just keep him. He will be suspended for 1 game, but he will be back in game week 3. Chris Wood, of course, if you need a new forward, I think that he is really solid. It's looked like the Chris Wood from start of last season where he just couldn't stop scoring. So Chris Wood at the moment, he scored a brace in game week 1, and he is a good buy ahead of game week 2. Ekitike looks like to be the starting number 9 for Liverpool. And Ait Nouri looked really good for Man City as well. I would, as mentioned in my other videos, expect some rotation when it comes to Ait Nouri, but if you really need to make a transfer, I think those players are good options at the moment. So in this graphic, I have one 50k team, one top 10k team, and actually the number 1 after the first game week. One common denominator is that if you take a look at the top teams in game week 1, most of them played a chip. So if you're not satisfied with your rank, and especially if you don't play a chip, I think that we should get our head up and think that we will play those chips later on. But 2 teams with Haaland and 1 team with Mo Salah. None of those teams actually have both Mo Salah and Erling Haaland. I think that Mo Salah owners got a bit lucky in game week 1. He didn't really play that well when it comes to the eye test or the expected goals, or the stats or the eye test didn't really impress that much, but he got a goal late on, scored a 4-2 goal, 95th minute, something like that. So Salah owners, they actually got a bit lucky. On another day, he might have blanked. All of those teams went for Chris Wood. I was really close picking Chris Wood in my team. I only got 28 points, so horrible start. If you want more information about this, go watch my team selection video. But I went Mateta and he blanked, only got 1 point after picking up a yellow card. So up front for those teams, we can see that they have some of the same players as my team. Watkins, Jared Bowen, and Joao Pedro is in one of those teams as well. All of them blanking. I think that even though they blanked in game week 1, they are still decent options. And my point is that even though those players blanked in game week 1, they might very well score in game week 2. So keep Watkins, keep Jared Bowen. I would suggest just keeping Joao Pedro as well. I think he will start as mentioned earlier. So don't lose patience with your players. Try to keep them for a bit longer. I can see the temptation about getting Reinders. You can see that the leader, the top player after game week 1, he actually has Reinders in his team. Kudus, I know that a lot of FPL managers was really tempted by Kudus. His ownership was close to 30% when the game launched. It got a bit down. We can see in those teams a couple of Semenyos as well. Tough fixture for Semenyo, but of course scored a brace 15 points. In defense, we can see that Spurs assets, they were really popular, and they were actually the bookies' favorites when it comes to keeping a clean sheet in game week 1. In goal, we have Vicario, Sells, Sanchez, all template picks, but the outcome was really good for the players going for Sanchez. Next game week, it might actually be Sells keeping a clean sheet. My point is that some of the players that blanked in game week 1, they are still decent options, so don't rage transfer them out. They might actually outscore the players that did well in game week 1. If you're interested in more FPL discussion and want to join in, I will host a Q&A on Thursday, the night before the deadline, and I will have a deadline stream a couple of hours before the deadline on Friday as well. So I would really appreciate if you give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more FPL content.